Hello there and welcome to... Wait a minute, what's going on here? This feels a little strange. Ah yes, that's right. This is a video about the all-new THOR002 thermal camera from Thermal Master. Thermal Master is best known for making thermal cameras that attach to smartphones. But the THOR002 is a bit of a first for them. It's a standalone handheld thermal camera that packs in features you'd normally only find in much more expensive models. Inside the case, you'll find the THOR002 unit itself, along with the usual manuals and cards, a USB cable, and an empty slot. That's where the macro lens would go if you opted for the THOR001 version. But we'll get to that a bit later in the video. As for the included cable, it's a USB-A on one end, and more importantly, a USB-C on the end that connects to the camera. Pretty much the standard these days. Alright, enough about the accessories. Let's take a closer look at the thermal camera itself. Quick note for full transparency, Thermal Master sent this unit over free of charge. However, they haven't paid for this video, haven't seen it ahead of time, and have had zero input on my testing or opinions. This is a hands-on practical review from a DIY perspective, focused on what the camera actually delivers for its price. The build quality feels solid, and with rubberized plastic all around, it definitely does not feel cheap. In fact, I go so far as to say that it has a premium feel to it. It features a pistol-style grip, large, easy-to-press control buttons, and a 3.5-inch LCD screen that stays crisp and readable even in broad daylight. Up front, you've got the thermal sensor, a 2-megapixel visible light camera, an LED light for illumination, and a laser pointer. The USB-C port and SD card slot are tucked under a protective flap at the top. And there's a tripod mount on the bottom, which is handy if you want to set it up so as to work hands-free. Just a quick reminder, if you're enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and leave a comment letting me know what you think about this budget-friendly thermal camera. Alright, let's go over some key specs and features. The THOR002 has a native infrared resolution of 256 by 192, and it also has software-enhanced super resolution, taking it up to 512 by 384. It's capable of measuring temperatures from minus 20 degrees Celsius all the way up to 550 degrees Celsius. And yes, it supports both the proper temperature units, which are Celsius and Kelvins, and that odd Fahrenheit thing too. The display is a 3.5-inch IPS screen with a 640 by 480 resolution. Bright, sharp, and easy to read. Powering it all is a 5000 mAh battery, giving you about 6 to 8 hours of runtime, depending on use of course. And that's a statement that I've got no other option but to believe, as I've not charged this thing once since I got it. It's IP54 rated for dust and splash resistance and is drop tested up to 2 meters apparently. Though I'm not planning to test that part myself because honestly, I just like this thing way too much. It comes with a 32GB micro SD card already installed, so you're ready to go right out of the box. Finally, let's not forget about the digital zoom feature, which is useful to have. However, the more you zoom in, the more the image quality tends to degrade. To get a feel for what the THOR002 can really do, I took it around for some general purpose testing. I did a quick sweep of an electrical panel and immediately flagged a breaker that was running noticeably warmer than the rest. I also think this could be a great tool for HVAC work. I say that as someone with no real HVAC knowledge, but even so I was able to spot areas where the insulation was clearly underperforming. But where this camera really proved itself was when I used it to take a proper look at the hot water piping in my apartment. And with it, it's absolutely clear where every single line runs, even through walls and floors. The heat signatures show up cleanly and it gives you a readable picture of what's going on behind the surface. Fortunately, it turns out I don't have any leaks, but if I did, this would be one of the first tools I'd reach for. For a hot water leak, I'd be looking for an unusual hotspot. For cold water, it's basically the same idea. I just shuffle through the available color palette until that color patch jumps out from the background. It's fast, accurate, and most importantly, it saves the guesswork. No need to tear open a wall, hoping to find the issue. Overall, the thermal response is quick and the image quality clear, especially with super resolution enabled. So far, so good. I'm really enjoying this $300 thermal camera because it genuinely feels like Thermal Master has put a lot of thought and effort into the design and functionality of it. The control layout is simple and intuitive. The D-pad lets you navigate menus, adjust zoom, and tweak pretty much everything you might need without any hassle. I mentioned the color palettes earlier, and on the THOR002 you get 7 different ones to choose from. The THOR001 actually has 9 in total, so a bit more variety there. But that one is intended for use on small electronics, whereas this version is the general purpose one. You also get multiple image modes where you can select the view from the thermal camera, regular camera, or a blend of both. That flexibility is really handy depending on what you're trying to capture. Another neat feature is the ability to place up to 3 additional temperature markers on screen. Adjusting their exact location does take a bit of patience, but the feature itself is a welcome one, and especially so if you know what you're doing. And there's so much more packed into this device, but I won't dive into every single detail in this video. Some of it is super useful to specific users, but let's be real here. It might put a few of you to sleep, and nobody wants that. What I really like is that everything is handled directly through the onboard interface. There's no need for a smartphone app to unlock features, which I really appreciate. For me, a standalone tool like this at $300 is a bargain. A lot of thermal cameras out there that require a phone to function and still cost even more than this. So as someone who appreciates self-sufficient gear, I really appreciate this. That said, Thermal Master have also developed an excellent mobile app. With the camera's Wi-Fi hotspot mode, you can stream a live view directly to your phone or tablet. They've clearly put some effort into it, but without overcomplicating things. The app's functionality is fairly basic, acting more like a second screen than a full control panel. Still, it's genuinely useful for real-time monitoring and for saving images or videos on the go. Honestly, I've seen worse apps from companies that only make apps. So, credit where it's due. And if you're more of a desktop user, the USB-C connection lets you live stream and review footage through Thermal Master's free PC software. That kind of flexibility really is a nice bonus. Based on my time using it, the THOR002 is very well suited for general inspection work such as HVAC diagnostics, electrical troubleshooting, automotive tasks, and any similar applications. Thermal Master has made thermal cameras before, but as far as I know, this is their first handheld model. And as first attempts go, it's an impressive one. The build quality feels excellent, the image quality, especially with the image enhancement turned on, is impressive, and overall the device feels like it costs more than $300. In terms of a price to performance ratio, I have to give it top marks. In fact, you'll likely see it appear on the channel more often going forward, especially during tests and demonstrations with other tools. That said, it's important to note that the THOR002 isn't designed for close-range electronics or PCB inspection, as the minimum focus distance is around 30 centimeters. For that kind of detailed work, the THOR001 is a better fit, because it comes with a macro lens and it supports shorter focal ranges. There are also other differences between the two models, but these are the most important ones. If I had to complain about something, and honestly it feels a bit unfair given the price, it would be the startup time. It takes a little longer than I'd ideally like to go from powering it on to being ready to use. But to be fair, that might just be me being a bit impatient more than anything else. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Because as always, I would love to know what you think.